Elijah was at that mountain. What about when Jesus took Peter, James, and John to a high mountain far apart, and he was transfigured before them?
Wow.
Who appeared?
What if
Moses
it wasn't
and
Mount
Elijah.
and Elijah.
Yeah.
You know, he said, I came to fulfill the law.
Yeah.
What if he really stood there where it was given? What if Mount Sinai is the Mount of Transfiguration?
Why not?
Doesn't it make sense?
It does.
Yeah. It makes sense.
And I'll tell you another one that's a mind-boggling thought. And you know, all of this is open to complete interpretation and debate, and we could be completely wrong in all of this, but it's things that we do ponder. What about Jacob? Jacob has this marvelous encounter where he sees a ladder. He sees a stairway. You know, he goes to sleep and he dreams, and he sees the angels of God ascending and descending upon this staircase. And he says, whoa, this is none other than the gate of heaven and the house of God. And he called it Beit El, the house of God. But the name of that place before was Luz.
What?
Luz.
Jebel Luz, this mountain.
It doesn't say Jebel Luz, but it says the name of that place before was Luz, or Laz. What is this mountain's name in Arabia? Laz. What happened? You know, when God descended in fire on that mountain, you can call it the portal of heaven, because he took Moses up there and he showed him the pattern. He showed him the heavenly pattern. There was absolutely a corridor, a portal, whatever you want to say, there for God to come down and for Moses to see the heavenly ark and the heavenly menorah and such as that. Jacob had an encounter at a place that was once called Luz, that he renamed Beit El, Bethel. He renamed it that because he said this, because there's a stairway. Angels are coming up and down here. You know, in the Psalms it says many myriads of angels accompanied God there at Sinai. They were moving up and down over the mountain. What if these are the same places? What if? Another very interesting thing, the name Rephidim, and you know, I am certainly not a Hebrew scholar under any circumstance, but in the Strong's Concordance and in the Hebrew Chaldee dictionary that I have, one of the first names of Rephidim means the balustrade or the staircase. You know, the balusters of a rail of a stair. Why would you? That's kind of a really odd name. The place where the rock was split and the waters came forth is called Rephidim. Why is it named the staircase? Or not the staircase, but the balustrade. The balustrade. Why would you name a place where water was released as the balustrade? What if that's the area that Jacob had the dream? The balustrade. The only place in Scripture that I know that a ladder to heaven is spoken of. So, like I said, these things are just thoughts to ponder. They may be completely far out and off the wall, but there are certainly, like I said, once you move this mountain into this area, all sorts of things open up that we had never even thought of as possibilities before. The bottom line is, there's something in Arabia that's been actively hidden on purpose for generations. Only a few people in this day and time have come out and started looking at this as a real possibility. But the bottom line is, why would God do this in our hour in which we live? Now, there's one thing I do have to say, and I want to say that there is a movie that will be coming. Avi Lipkin spoke of this. He said he had a look at this and it changed his life. Wow. Well, there's a movie that is coming. It's called The Exodus Conspiracy. You can go to one of the most beautiful websites out there, and it's www.exodusconspiracy.com. This movie will be released in Israel first, and then it will come to the rest of the United States, and we hope it will be early next year. Hope. I can't tell you exactly when it's going to be released because it's not quite completed. But this is the largest gathering of professionals, archaeologists, Egyptologists, geologists, geographers, heads of museums, people, theologians. One, Mr. Tim Mahoney, who is also a dear friend, is the filmmaker, and it's out of Mahoney Media Group in Minneapolis. And they are taking a look at all these various things, a lot of which you've seen this evening. But Tim even takes it further. And it's an absolutely astonishing film. So I would encourage everyone to go to that website and monitor it for when this film is going to come out. Because, like I said, Jim and I are not experts. At best, we're ground proofers. We went in and snuck a bunch of pictures out. And, you know.
Somebody said
Eyewitnesses.
Exodus, what's the website again?
It's ExodusConspiracy.com.
Okay, thank you, crew.
And you can have a look at that, and please monitor it, because this film is absolutely gonna turn the world upside down with some of these things.
Oh, wow.
You know, just by virtue of its length, it can't go into great detail like some of what you've seen tonight, but I can guarantee you it is eye-popping. And at the end of the day, everyone should know, yes, there is a God in heaven, and yes, He is the God of Israel.
You know, you
God
only
of covenant.
talked a very small part about your book. What's in the rest of your book?
Well, that book is actually, because so many people have heard about various people who've been out to this mountain or whatever, and they want to know, how are we connected to it? Where did you get involved in this? And that's why I wrote the book. I wrote it, and I'm telling you, you'll know what we ate, you'll know what we drank. It's right off my journals. I wrote a journal throughout this whole journey.
It's wonderful.
And, you know, in some ways it's probably very silly, but in other ways you will see the profound with the mundane. We were just a family out on an adventure that turned out really to be an adventure, and it wound us up through this crazy trip through Egypt, going through things that normal families go through. You know, the kids fighting in the back seat and me threatening to throw them out the truck half the time going down the road. But then the very next scene you'll read about is us falling to our knees at the base of a mountain that we believe God Himself descended in flames of a fire. And as you get toward the end of the book, those things start becoming very aware, and you will know, just like we did, that we were led out truly by a vision of God. There's no other way to explain it. And it's not that we're anybody special. It's just that there is a very special God of that mountain and of all creation.
Wow.
And He's got something to say in our day and time.
He does. Wow, I can't wait to see what the world reaction is when that movie comes out, and that expose of the truth that lies in Saudi Arabia.
And it's not a fairy tale made up by a bunch of crazy Jews.
That's exactly right. You know, I was thinking about those scriptures. I believe it's in either 1st or 2nd Peter, where he says, we are not following cunningly devised fairy tales here.
Right.
We are speaking to you of what we have seen and touched with our own eyes, the Word of God, living, breathing here among us, Yeshua, Lord. And it just, that's what these things are all about. As I've said before, the archaeology is stunning enough if it proves out to be these things. But come on, I mean, you've got like 45 points that are possible matches without even getting into the other things that are non-archaeological, like quail and almond trees and fig trees, and you know, and you look at all of these things, and when you take them all together, I mean, isn't that what science does? It takes all of the possibilities and puts them all together and looks at the percentages. And you know, 3 witnesses can convict a man, well, 12 in our country, but 12 can convict a man to life or death. How many points do we have to show? And let me assure you, when we do our presentations in churches and such, we, or anywhere else, we'll do them for one person in a back room or in front of 15,000 people. I don't care. Wherever we can speak, we will. But we have so many.
Get a hold of you by your website. Would you guys leave that website up?
Yes. In fact, all the information of how to contact us and how to have us come speak, should you so desire, is out there on the website. But, you know, we only brought a tiny little handful.
Split rock. Split rock because of that big rock.
Because of the rock at heart.
Oh,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Split rock research.
One of the things that we try to do when we do our
fast presentation, which still takes a couple of hours, sometimes 2.5, is that we try to bring it to you as an experience. We want you to come with us. We want you to take this journey with us. You're going to see a lot of video. You're going to be hit with a lot of images, because we also want to make that impression of how powerful this is and how real it is. But we also want you to have a good time with us and see some of the snowflakes in the desert and hear the kids screaming. And so we kind of mix it up with the things right out of the book, as well as the archaeology and the physical evidence.
Star of David snowflake.
Star of David snowflakes, yeah. And you can actually see that video. Jim was right. I thought we had it with us, but it is on our website. You can go and click on it, and you can see these little Star of David snowflakes. But one of the things I want to tell you, and we can get into this kind of little detail when we are in our presentations, but one of the hilarious things, you know how here is Dr. Leonard Moeller in Sweden, born on exactly the same day that Jim Caldwell is born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, whose destinies in the Lord meet out over the sands of Saudi Arabia. Only God can do something like that. But get this, the family from the East, Dr. Kim and his wife, Jenny, Jim and Penny, Kim and Jenny. We had the same experience
about that
in Saudi Arabia. He took his children just like we took our children. They went 12 times to the mountain. So, you know, it just, those little check marks that God gives you as you go along are just what has kept this so alive in us all these years. And it just gets more dear to us as the years go by.
You told us your children were, what?
27.
10 and 7.
They were 7 and 9 on the first trip.
7 and 9. And now they are
27 and 24.
Wow.
So they're grown.
2 years have gone by.
They're grown now.
How many trips to the mountain did they make with you?
Probably 6 or 7. We didn't take them on the high mountain climbs because it was just too dangerous.
They couldn't have done that.
But let me tell you, they were incredible troopers, and they wish they could go back to this day. In fact, the Saudi Arabia is home to them.
I bet it is.
It really, it's home. It really, you want to know the truth? Having had these experiences, that place is home to us.
That's where you'd like to be.
That's where we'd like to be. And may end up back again someday, along with a lot of others, but that's a whole nother show.
Well, Tommy, you scheduled this excellent program. I'm going to let you close it out the way you'd like to.
I just thank you so much for coming and sharing this tidbit with us, because there is so much more. And you do want to get the book, and you do want to follow along on the website and see how things progress, because this is going to be monumental in history.
And thanks for bringing it to GLC. And keep praying for the peace of Jerusalem.
And so the wicked man fled when no man pursued it. But the righteous are bold as a lion. I saw the humble lion bold like a lion, 'cause him got to enter Mount Zion. The rich man is wise to his own conceit, but the poor man that overstandeth search him out. When righteous men do rejoice, there is great glory. But when the wicked rise, someone goes into hiding. And where Jah come forth, all weak heart shall fall. Yeah. So all Babylon say that all Rastaman got to flee. But I and I know say all Babylon and Baalet got to get down on their knee. Then go run to the sea. I thought they get down on their knee. I say I them I go flee. Flee, flee. I saw we did.
This program is brought to you exclusively by the love gifts and offerings of our faithful partners. Thank you, partners.